For me, as a financial market regulator, the first question is on investment. Do we have enough investment for the growth we wish to have? Well, the answer is we don't have enough. Is there really a financial cause to this lack of investment? Sincerely, I don't think so. It's often argued the contrary. It's often argued that firms have difficulties to fund their projects, but I think, and I could comment, but it's not the issue for this evening, but I think that in most European countries, firms that have good projects, whether through equity or through debt, through bonds or through banking loans, they find the financial resources. So I don't think that the key problem we have is on the financial sphere. I wanted to start by that because it's a little paradox. It's not to say that we have nothing to do and nothing to work on. We are very much, as regulators, are very much in favor of what has just been said by the representative of the EU Commission. I think the main message of Lord Hill is that we have been concentrated at EU level and at national level on the struggle against risk. We started the work just after the failure of Lehman, and so risks were everywhere, and so there were a number of directives trying to tackle risk. And the message now is not that this work was not really necessary. It was obviously necessary. It's not that this work is finished. It's not really completely finished, so surprising it may appear. But we also have to concentrate on the future, and the future is growth, is investments, is a regulation adapted to the concentration of the market forces on what financing is about, to allocate the resources on the right investments possibilities. So we share completely that view. I think that we both have to finish the Barnier agenda, to say it in a few words, for instance on EMIR directive, which is not finished, which is not implemented, which is very important. But we have to concentrate on all the regulatory stuff we have and to see if it's really adapted. So it's exactly what you mentioned, and we completely share this view. It means that we have to make the regulation as simpler as possible whenever it's possible. Just for instance, an example, you at the EU level, you just published sort of a future regulation on prospectus, not a third directive on prospectus, but a proposed regulation at EU level, which does not destroy the prospectus regime in Europe, but try to adapt it to new circumstances, and exactly to concentrate to have the right constraint, the right information for the public, whether professional or private individuals, but to try and reduce the cost, because this cost is much too heavy, and especially for SMEs when they join the market or when they raise their capital. So this is an example. There are others. And so there is a lot to do on that direction, both at EU level and at ESMA level, where I work a lot with my colleagues, and at national level, to answer your question. The third point I wanted to concentrate on is the supervision. The same message at ESMA. Perhaps you know that Stephen Major and Varen Ross, one is chairman, the other is the CEO of ESMA. They are both starting for a new mandate of 5 years, and they have the confidence of the board and of the European Parliament for that. And their message is very clear. We have been at ESMA level concentrated very much on producing standards, guidelines, interpretation rules, new rules, what is called level 2 or level 3, level 1 of course being the political level directive or regulation. And now we still have certain work to do on that topic, but we have decided to concentrate on supervisory convergence, a new supervisory culture. It's not easy because you might argue that with many standards and with the comply or explain system, normally we have the same rules, we have the same very, sometimes very detailed, very precise rules, and normally the supervision should be the same in all countries. But everyone with experience in that field knows that it's not the case. Practically the same text, whether it's very, even it's very detailed, very even very long, sometimes too long, will not be interpreted by a French, German, or a British or an Italian regulator in the same way, because there are different culture, difference in the legal system, in the regulatory environment, and so on. So what we have decided to concentrate on is on the fact to really, for instance, study, review exactly the practice of studying, preparing the visa for prospectus in different countries, to realize if we have the same means, the same philosophy, the same checks and balances in that work, and dialogue with the advisors of the issuer or the issuer's teams itself. That's one example. And the same for instance, retail financial services, on which you're going to concentrate your effort at the Commission level. The same for securitization, and same for UCITS or AFM products. And I think this can be useful for the financing. I completely share Robert's views that the balance between debt and equity is very important, and the reduction of the various possibilities to access to funding is very important. We have not mentioned a lot private equity, but it's an area where perhaps we're a little late compared to the US. I think you mentioned it. So if we go step by step, and with that philosophy of having the same supervision and having as light a regulation as necessary, well, only the necessary rules, all that is necessary, but only what is really necessary, and leaving the red tape aside, we would have contributed to investment, I think. Thank you very much.